The neighborhood feels safer with this technology.
We have a contract where they said we don't do that. And then we're going to say, yes, we do that. They're telling us they don't do that.
Dueling opinions on Little Rock's controversial ShotSpotter system coming to a head tonight at City Hall. Good evening, I am Rolly Hoyt. Despite some pushback, the Little Rock Board of Directors voting tonight to extend the contract for the gunshot detection system. The Little Rock Police Department has been using the software since 2018, and just in the last hour, a department spokesperson calls it a valuable tool that supports efforts to strengthen community safety. THV 11's Catherine Rowley at tonight's board meeting, which looked very different from the last time this came up.
Surveillance is not safety. Surveillance is not safety.
That was a scene of last year's board meeting when community members spoke out against ShotSpotter. There were no protests on Tuesday when the board voted to extend the contract with Sound Thinking Inc. for another year.
We heard a member of the staff say ShotSpotter alerted them to someone who had been shot. We didn't get a 911 call. No one alerted the police. But because of that system, we were there to find someone who had been shot on a porch.
Director Virgil Miller says that his vote came from neighborhoods that advocated for the technology. The system has already been used in 2 homicides this year.
The first one was at 13th and Woodrow. The second one was on Brown. No one called us about the man who was murdered on Brown Street. He was found on a front porch. When the detectives talked to the person that lived in that house, they had no idea that that person was out there.
Director Antoine Phillips says he's sticking with his no vote, just like in 2025, arguing taxpayer funds could go towards more effective crime-fighting technologies.
But is there other technology that's more effective on the way to reduce crime? And based on my reading of the contract, and I know there was a lot of back and forth about this just being a tool, but you want to use the most effective tools. If I'm at home in my kitchen and the knife is not working as good as it should, you go get a new knife.
But Director Phillips still believes there are better ways to spend city dollars.
These are our dollars that the city entrusts us with, so I just want to make sure that we're using them in the most effective way. And based on what my understanding of ShotSpotter and how it works and what it does and doesn't do, I don't think it's the most effective use of the taxpayer dollars.
So ShotSpotter will continue to be used by the LRPD until next year when it's back in front of the board for contract renewal. In downtown Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.